clear. As story theory is about a story changing over time, perhaps with each visit there's a different story with perspective. You'll gather more information and get more of a rich experience of the person. How is your story now developing with your trip to Japan with regard to your research on the Hiroshima survivors?
So what I'm going to tell you is not about the survivor story, but about how our story as a research team is growing. And so on September 21st, just about a week ago, we did a performance of With Their Voices Raised here at the university for the United Nations Day of Peace. And for that performance, we brought in two of the young men who had done the performance in Hawaii at the Pacific Aviation Museum at Pearl Harbor. So we had high school students in this performance. We had undergraduate students, we had graduate students, and we had these two young men who came from Hawaii. So it was a continuation of what we had originally intended, and it's heeding the voices of our participants who said, make sure you tell these stories. We're sharing with you so that these stories are told and that the younger generation doesn't forget that there's no more Hiroshimas and that we remember Pearl Harbor, in the words of the participants. So it's like through the performances, we actually continue to unfold the story of honoring the voices of our participants. So every time we do it, now we have another group of young people who know the human toll of war from the perspective of people who lived through the bombings of Hiroshima and Pearl Harbor. That continues to go on, that's not changing. We continue to have wars all over the world. I was recently contacted by someone in Thailand who would like to replicate this model with Buddhist and Muslim people in South Thailand, where they've been at war for quite some time. And so a lot of men have died. There are a lot of widows and a lot of orphans. So she would like to replicate it. It will be another unfolding of the story. So we just continue to let the research lead us to next steps. So when I go to Japan on Friday, I have data I always meet with the actors after the performance to talk about how it touched them, what it meant to them, and, sort of to get their guidance about how we move it along. And so I met with the actors. I have 4 focus groups now with youth actors that I've done. So that's one of the things I'll be doing in Japan, is we'll be looking at that focus group data and analyzing it for publication. Yeah, and also for guidance for our next steps, like what we're doing next.